Project Stargate is back apparently. There are US advocates who are urging the White House to support what is called the RISE Initiative. And this is the article written by the Debrief, written by Chrissy Newton. The coalition of scientists and former intelligence officers is urging the White House support for the initiative to advance U.S. research in what is called edge science and controversial fields like quantum computing and consciousness studies. The Debrief has learned as American advancements in technology and science rapidly evolve amid global competition, officials from the Executive Office of the President at the White House in Washington, D.C., recently met a group of scientists and former intelligence office officials advocating for a groundbreaking new initiative, Research and Innovation at the Scientific Edge, and RISE for short, which aims to push the boundary of scientific exploration. RISE seeks support for the projected dedication to unconventional or cutting-edge research areas such as quantum computing, consciousness studies, remote viewing, micropsychokinesis, also known as micro-PK, time-agnostic cryptography, evidence-based tools informed by indigenous knowledge, and potential application for the study of unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP for short. And now, in the California Institute of Human Science, for the first time since the 1980s, now they are offering PhDs in parapsychology. To be more specific, in this case, PhD in psychology with a concentration in parapsychology. I had to clarify that. Rice advocates argue that pursuing these fields is essential to maintain America's competitive edge against rapidly advancing nations like China. The initiative's proponent further argued that the U.S. can overcome obstacles and stigma surrounding unconventional research with chief executive support, allowing the U.S. to develop game-changing advantages related to everything from national security to human resilience. The organization consists of heavy hitters from not only the science community but former internal government officials with a diversity of agencies insights, including neuroscientist Julia Mosbrick, Jifia Savantra from the National Security Institute, Daniel Rasdell, former assistant director for the cyber in the Office of the Director of Defense Research and Engineering, and Camera Medina, a retired senior federal executive with more than 3 decades in the intelligence community, including the work with the CIA. And during my more than 30 years in national security, too many times we share surprise by thinking that other claims could never happen, Medina quoted, said in a recent statement announcing the initiative. The best way to prevent that in the future if the science and technology domains is to have dedicated programs to scan the horizon for new discoveries. That's again her statement. Discussions about foreign adversaries gaining a technological edge have recently intensified, with the reports suggesting that China is investing significantly into fields like quantum computing, photonics, and brain-machine interface. In July, the Chinese government announced an ambitious goal to set a new world standard for brain-machine interface. Parallel to these efforts, China has already invested $15.3 billion in quantum technology, compared to the US $3.7 billion, an investment gap that highlights the urgent need for the US to prioritize advanced research. Along a similar lines, in February 2022, the objectivist RAND Corporation report reported the U.S. and Chinese industrial base with relation to advancements in quantum technology emphasized that Chinese efforts are primarily concentrated in government-funded laboratories, some of which have made rapid progress. Given such concerning advancement by adversary nations, a related area of focus for RISE also involves problems associated with overclassification within the U.S. intelligence community, with even U.S. Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines has said potentially undermines critical democratic objectives by limiting access to information that could help advance U.S. capabilities. Overclassification is a considerable burden, said the neuroscientist Julia Mosbrick in an email to Debrief. Even just bureaucratically, it weighs down government functioning. But beyond that, it has been tempting effect of science and technology ecosystem, any form of exploration and democracy itself. End quote. Must be told to defeat that problems like overclassification are paralleled by separate issues that include stigma that have long hampered serious study into unconventional research topics. Again, quoting from her, right now the edge science and technology ecosystem had to be very careful since we experience all sorts of shaming, blaming, discounting, and dismantling of genuine scientific and technological advancements in administration on both sides of the aisle. Ms. Brick said, the multi-decade life program needs to end so researchers can get to discovery again. Echoing Ms. Briggs' sentiment, Daniel Raskow, a former federal official and recipient of the Secretary of Defense Medal for Outstanding Public Service, said the time has come to give edge science and technology by permission, priority, and significance it deserve. We must empower our best minds to rise to this challenge, expanding the boundaries of knowledge for the benefit of the public and national security. A key challenge to Rice's face involved the attitudes that had long prevailed over the unconventional research within the scientific and governmental communities. Remote viewing, for example, is highly stigmatized and controversial topic. The U.S. intelligence community has seriously explored in the past. A limited number of people in the government almost certainly understand this topic and its potential, said Dean Randy, a chief scientist at the Institute of Noetic Science and the former president of the Parapsychology Association, which is affiliated with the American Association with the Advancement of Science. He is also Associate Distinguished Professor of the Integral and Transpersonal Psychology at the California Institute of Integral Studies. Few may appreciate the U.S. lags behind several research and development efforts in other countries, and I believe that present a real threat to our national security, says Randy. Remote viewing research had pioneered in the 1970s by Stanford Research Institute researcher Harold Pufo and Russell Tarr, under a program initiated and funded by the CIA and later supported by the Department of Defense. Technically speaking, I'm going to correct this article a little bit. It is not funded by the CIA. The CIA did get the fund, but the majority of the funding was conducted under the Department of the Army. The program that became known as the Stargate project aimed to determine whether extrasensory perception could enable individuals to see distant or unseen targets. Though declassified and shut down in 1995 due to skepticism about its effectiveness, rumor persisted that similar research continued under a different name, although this remained unconfirmed by U.S. authorities. Among those who claim to have been involved in such efforts, former U.S. Army counterintelligence officer Luis Elizondo has said that he worked on a secret remote viewing program, although the Department of Defense has not verified these claims. While the Department of Defense currently already has a Defense Advanced Research Project Agency (DARPA) to explore cutting-edge technology, Mossberg and her colleagues feel that there are other areas that warrant serious research, which similar agencies have traditionally avoided. Rice was an idea I had for Rand, Mossberg told to Deeply, but I heard from Rand when I presented this that it was too controversial, and Rand will need direct outreach from the White House to pursue this stuff. Then I heard the same thing going to DARPA. There's a general fear that it's not okay to pursue ed science and tech openly, that there has to be a culture shift from the very top, Mosbrick said. Randy Simi told Diffie that his experience, federal agencies tend to avoid having involvement with such pursuits, emphasizing that this shyness factor has severely constrained government funding for research on these topics. These agencies are understandably concerned that the public might misinterpret their work as being woo-woo or weird, Ragscat told to Debrief. Unfortunately, edge science can often be viewed this way, where it should be recognized as a valid evidence-based method for uncovering knowledge when we are open-minded enough to pose research questions that are unconstrained by conventional thinking. If established within the Executive Order of the President, or EOP, RISE could empower these agencies and by extension the entire nation to prioritize a wider range of initiative ideas and impactful solutions, as the Ragsdale said. Besides seeking government endorsement, Rice planned to collaborate with academic institutions, nonprofit businesses, and other relevant government bodies. In a press release, Rice outlined three primary objectives: advancing national well-being through transformative science and health innovations, fostering an inclusive ecosystem for grounding research, and strategically investing in technology programs that address emerging priorities. Mosprey explained that RISE won't conduct research directly, but will serve as a facilitator for study undertaken by research organizations already existing within and outside the government. Housed within the small office within the Executive Office of the President, possibly within or related to the Office of Science and Technology Policy. RISE will help to facilitate interagency relationships, private-public partnership, and relationships with academic, nonprofit, and also faith-based institutions focused on edge science and the technology projects. Reflection on the past, Rice advocated had drawn lessons from the 1960 space race, emphasizing the extraordinary achievement made possible through strong executive office leadership. They argued that, with similar high-stake challenges today, White House support is crucial to advance American innovation and keep nations at the forefront of global scientific and technological development. Ultimately, most bricks said RISE, once implemented, had the potential to significantly aid in shifting stigma that had long embedded research in these areas, allowing the U.S. to move forward by facilitating funding and collaborations that explicitly support ed science and technology. So yeah, there you go. If this goes through, the return of Project Stargate or like something similar to that nature. I guess parapsychology is back, baby. I guess so, even though I'm very skeptical of the existence of supernatural phenomena. But hey, let's see how it goes. Hell, I even join if I had the opportunity to see what the fuck they're gonna do with this. So yeah, see you guys next time.